Blood Plus is an often overlooked show that falls somewhere between the lines of I've heard its name somewhere and it's absolutely amazing. In fact, I was in that first camp for the longest time with no intention of putting it before the other shows I've been watching, up until my fiance sat me down and said, "This is one of my favorite anime. We're watching it. Starting now." And damn well I don't regret it. Blood Plus is generally well received by the people that have actually seen the series, and it just kind of exists out there somewhere, waiting to be seen, if by chance someone passes it by for those that haven't. It's not that far into the show that you start understanding that, although this is a story about killing some vampire-like creatures, that the real story here is about family. What makes a family, and if blood matters in the definition of that family. We hear a phrase very early on, Nankurunaisa, an Okinawan phrase that loosely translates to, everything is going to be alright.
Nankurunaisa.
Huh? Nankurunaisa?
It means it'll all work out. Dad likes to say that a lot.
A phrase used by a man named George Miyagusku to help his family through tough times. A phrase that found its way to his children after his life had ended. But what is it about Nankurunaisa that really pushes the point of Blood Plus home? After many trials and tribulations, including the death of many comrades and friends, we see three siblings trying to face the reality of their new world. Saya Otonashi, a girl who somehow begins to recall memories from the Vietnam War era, but is going to school in Japan in the 2000s. Kai Miyagusku, a popular kid turned delinquent, and Riku Miyagusku, the youngest of the three, yet a little more mature than Kai, all three of which are adopted by George. It's hard to talk about these characters and their relationships without going into the events of the series itself, so this is your spoiler warning for all of Blood Plus. When we first get a look into George as a character, he explains to Saya that he once had a family, one that is buried in the same spot that he found Saya at. In a way, the man adopted these kids to start over, to have another chance at life, but that chance was cut short. In an attempt to save his daughter, George is brutally wounded by a chiropteran, this series term for bat-like vampire creatures, that Saya is destined to kill. To put him out of his misery, before turning into one of these creatures himself, he asks Saya to kill him, with her own blood, the weapon that makes her effective against these monsters. The three children must come together after their father George is killed and retain the essence of family. Their definition is disrupted twice more, as Riku is turned into a chevalier, a much more powerful chiropteran that can retain its human form, yet no longer age. Riku, to Saya and Kai, will always appear to be a child. It's also revealed that Saya is a chiropteran queen, and has been alive since the late 1800s. Kai's world becomes shaken, with two non-human family members. Nankurunaisa. Everything is going to be alright. Despite all the hardship, everything will turn out fine in the end. As Kai begins on this road of acceptance, he quickly loses Riku, his death at the hands of Saya's blood sister Diva, the sister that Saya swore to kill. And upon killing Diva, two chiropteran babies are left behind, the remains of both her and Riku. Kai must say one last goodbye to his sister before she ends up going into her hibernation, and is left with the babies that contain the life essence of those he lost. Family is at the core of what keeps Nankurunaisa so powerful. It is the core that keeps the story of Blood Plus flowing. Just how terribly can a family be torn apart but still remain optimistic? Just how much pain can they take before it's too much? Just how powerful are familial bonds that aren't blood versus those that are blood? And how do you find your own trust between blood and non-blood? One day, Saya will wake up, and she might not be the same. Riku and George are gone. The friends that were made along the way, well, some of them are still alive, but others aren't. Life goes on and good things will still happen, even when it seems like nothing but bad is happening. It's just a phrase, but it's things like this that keep some people going at times. Sometimes it's those family traditions that get passed down and keep memories of others alive. Sometimes it's those traditions that keep a smile on your face to remember a better time. Sometimes it's just something a family member once said. Nankurunaisa.
Live for today, but look forward to tomorrow. Remember, that's what Dad always said. It'll all work out, he'd always shout. Nankurunaisa!